Hello guys, welcome back to algebra class. This time I will go over this absolute value transformation part 2. This is the almost exactly same thing that we did in 2.1 here, but only thing that is different is I just added b here, okay? So just like previous lesson, let's start with the, what's it called? Yeah, let's just start with the graph here. So solution, we have two solutions, one at -5, one at -1. So this one is pretty much the same thing from the previous note, although graph is slightly different. And y-intercept, we have this one at 0, 1. Axis of symmetry, where x equals -3, vertex at -3, -2, domain, all real number. Now range is the bottom to top. We start from the -2 and keep going to positive infinity. So about this graph, I just went over it quickly. If you do not understand how I did it, make sure you watch previous video. There I explain more detail. This one, I just want you to try on your own. So pause the video, try this one by yourself. There. I hope this one makes sense to you. So now let's talk about this transformation, part 2. This is the only thing that I just added, only because this could be confusing. So if you have a highlighter, I would highlight this too, and we're going to talk about this. So the reason that I'm highlighting this too is because that's the vertical shift, which means everything will be followed by its own sign. For example, if a is greater than 1, we call it vertically stretched because graph will get narrower if number is bigger than 1. If a is less than 1, we call it vertically compressed, which means graph is going to be wider. K is also outside of this absolute value, as you can see. So this one is also up and down. If it's a plus, it's going to go up. If it's a minus, it's going to go down. Now let's talk about horizontal shift. Now grab another color highlighter. You can highlight B and you can highlight H. Now B, it's a horizontal. It's going to make it stretched or compressed, which means narrow and wide. If B is greater than 1, your graph is going to be narrow. But here, what I mean narrow is, how can you make it narrow horizontally? As I said, it's going to be horizontal shift. You're going to compress it. If you compress it, your graph is going to be still narrow, right? So we call it horizontally compressed. If B is less than 1, which means graph should be widened, which means if you stretch out the graph, it's going to be horizontally stretched. So that's the only thing that I just added compared to previous lesson. Everything else should be same. Like for example, H, same thing. Everything will work opposite. If it's negative, it's going to move to the right. If it's a plus, it's going to move to the left. Let's do this one. So here, now we're going to utilize decimals. I'm going to click home. Let's start with here. Now inside absolute value, now do you see 3? It's still inside absolute value, but still in front of x. So if I put 3, do you see graph gets narrowed? But it's not vertical, it's horizontal. So how can you make it horizontally like narrow? Horizontally compressed. So that's the only thing that you need to know. And -1, it's the same thing as before. It's going to be 1 to the right, although I don't want to show it to you in the decimals because it's too easy. But you can do it. Just copy it down. and minus 2 is 2 down. That's it. And here, I do not want to confuse you, but you can, if you want to know, when it is horizontal compression, we call it horizontally compressed by, instead of 3, we're going to say 1/3. Because you have to think opposite if it is inside this absolute values bracket. So same thing here. 1/3 is obviously smaller than 1, so it's going to make your graph wide horizontally. How can you make it wide horizontally? Stretch it. Minus 1 is same thing, 1 to the right. Plus 4 is 4 up. And again, when horizontal stretch, you gotta flip this, so 1/3 will become horizontal stretch by 3. But you don't have to know about this. As long as you can come up with this one, you're good. So that's it. If you go to the next page, it's the same practice. I will go over this one. So 3, this one is outside of absolute value, so it's a vertical shift. It's bigger than 1, so we call it vertically stretched by 3. 2 is inside, so it's going to make it even narrower. Horizontally, how can you make it narrow? Horizontally compressed. And you don't have to write it, but you can say by flip 2, so 1/2. Plus 1, again, it's going to go opposite, just like 2, 1/2, or 2, whichever you want to call. It's going to be 1 to the left instead of right, because it's the opposite. Minus 4 is going to be go as it is, 4 down, because it's outside. So try question on the right by yourself. That's it. On the right, pause the video. Now try these 2 questions by yourself on the right. Again, you don't have to do it, but this is going to be by 1/2. This one is going to be by 1/5 because you got to flip it. But again, you don't have to know. So that's it. So we have one last part. This is going to be an interesting question because question asks the graph of the parent function f of x equals absolute value of x undergoes the transformation shown below. And we have to discard the full effect of the graph transformation. Even though we can just do it out of this graph here, I want you guys to transform this into this absolute value format. F of x equals absolute value of x, and you can see f inside of the parentheses here, right? So we're gonna change it. First, this one is same thing with the absolute value. So parentheses, I'm gonna change it with absolute value. But do you see there's a negative sign in front of f? So I'm gonna put minus. And inside of parentheses, instead of just x, we have 1/2 x, which means instead of just x, I'm gonna put 1/2 x. I just copy this one down. And do you see plus 3 at the end? I will just put a plus 3. That's it. As you can see, only thing that I changed is this f with a parenthesis. I just changed this one with the absolute value. That's it. And simple. Just write it. It's a reflect. And this one is horizontally stretched by 2, and this one is 3 up. So you can try this question by yourself. Same thing, f with a parenthesis, I will just change it with the absolute value with a 2x and minus 4. And you can explain this one by vertically compressed by 1/2 and then 4 down. All right, so we got these two. Same thing, y equals with the absolute value. So we have got negative, so I'm going to put negative. Inside we got 5x, so I'm going to put 5x. That's it. Same thing, reflect across the x-axis. Vertically compressed by 1/5. Y equals, same thing, I'm going to put absolute value. There's a 2 in front of f, so I'm going to put 2. 3x inside the parenthesis, so 3x. Minus 4 at the end, so minus 4. That easy. So 2, I will write vertically stretched by 2. 3 is a horizontally compression because it's going to make it narrow by 1/3 if you want to write, and then 4 down. There's no left and right for these two yet. Yeah, nothing here. So that's about it. If you have more questions, ask me in the classroom. I will help you. So that's about it, guys. Yep, have a good day. Mr. Kim signing out.